Hello Manchester United fans, welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. What Ruben Amorim will do first at Manchester United as he sets out clear vision. New Man United head coach Ruben Amorim has outlined what he plans to do first amid ongoing speculation about him installing a new formation at Old Trafford. Head coach Ruben Amorim has made giving Manchester United an identity his first task ahead of taking charge for the first time in just over a week. Amorim arrived in England on Monday, a little over a week after United had announced he was replacing Erik ten Hag, and he will take charge for the first time when the Reds travel to Portman Road to face Ipswich Town on November 24th. The appointment of the former Sporting Lisbon boss has generated a wave of excitement and fresh optimism around Old Trafford, with supporters hopeful he will be able to replicate the success he enjoyed in Portugal in M16. Amorim enjoyed plenty of success in the Portuguese capital as a result of implementing his trademark 3-4-3 formation. It is understood he will attempt to use the same system at United. However, before focusing on formations, Amorim wants to focus on installing an identity and getting his principles across to his players. Amorim told club media, "I think it's important because a lot of people now talk about the 3-4-3 and the 4-3-3 and all that stuff. But when I think as a player or as a teammate of Manchester United, it is not a system of formation, it's like the character of the players, the way they see the club. So we have to focus on that before the everything of how we play, how we press. The most important thing for me at this moment is to create the principles, the identity and the character that we had in the past. We know that we need time, but we have to win time. To win time is to win games. But the most important thing for me is identity. So since day one we will start with our identity. Of course we are going to prepare the games, but we will focus a lot on our game model. How to play, how to press, these small things, small details. You cannot go 100% on every detail because it will be confusing for the players. So if I have to say one thing, my main goal, my first goal, is identity. Paul Pogba, Juventus confirm they've struck mutual agreement for the termination of ex-Man United star's contract. Juventus have officially confirmed they've terminated the contract of former Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba. Pogba was handed a 4-year ban in February for a doping offence, but in October, this was reduced to 18 months after the player lodged a successful appeal. He will resume training in January and will be eligible to line up in competitive fixtures once again from March. However, despite this, it emerged that Juventus were no longer keen on keeping Pogba even after the Frenchman expressed a willingness to take a wage cut to remain in Turin. Juventus' stance was reaffirmed by club director Cristiano Giuntoli, who insisted that the old lady had different plans and were working on releasing Pogba. The Serie A giants have now released a statement confirming as much. Juventus Football Club and Paul Pogba announced that they have reached a mutual agreement for the termination of their contract as of the 30th of November 2024. The club wishes Paul the very best for his professional future. The former United man will now be free to join a new club when the January transfer window opens. Reacting to this latest development in his career, Pogba wrote on Instagram, "There are moments when things don't go the way we want, but one thing is certain, the bond I have with you, dear fans, will remain unforgettable. You have given me so much, more than I can put into words, and I will always carry with me all the affection you gave me. You'll be in my heart, always. Good luck." Pogba has so far been linked with Saudi Pro League outfit Al Nassr. It's also believed that there is interest in his services from Major League Soccer. Paul Pogba eyes next chapter after Juventus exit confirmed. Paul Pogba has reached a mutual agreement with Juventus to terminate his contract with the Serie A giants, the France international has announced. The former Manchester United midfielder, whose Juve deal was set to expire in 2026, did not reveal his next destination, though the 31-year-old has been linked to Inter Miami. Pogba was handed a 4-year doping ban, following an initial suspension, in March, but can now resume playing next March after the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, last month reduced his punishment to 18 months. He will be a free agent on November 30th when his Juve contract ends. "My time at Juventus has come to an end," Pogba said in a statement. "It has been a privilege to pull on the shirt of the Bianconeri and to share so many special moments together. I cherish the memories we made. They live on. Even in the most difficult moments over the past year, your support was crucial, and I want to thank Juve fans around the world for their compassion. It has been a pleasure to have experienced so many great moments with my teammates over the years, and I wish them every success in the future. I am looking forward to the next chapter of my career and to stepping out on the pitch with my next club." A Juventus statement read, Juventus Football Club and Paul Pogba announced that they have reached a mutual agreement for the termination of their contract as of the 30th of November 2024. The club wishes Paul the very best for his professional future. Pogba, a World Cup winner with France in 2018, was banned in March after being provisionally suspended since September last year after he tested positive for dehydroepiandrosterone (DHEA). The CAS judgment found Pogba's ingestion of the banned substance was not intentional and was the result of erroneously taking a supplement prescribed to him by a medical doctor in Florida. Pogba started his senior career at Manchester United before joining Juventus for a first spell in 2012. He won 4 successive Serie A titles with the Italian side before returning to United in 2016 for what was then a world record transfer fee of £89 million. The Frenchman, who has 91 caps for his country, rejoined Juventus on a free transfer in July 2022, signing a 4-year deal. Pogba scored the third of France's goals in the 2018 World Cup final, helping to inspire his side to a 4-2 over Croatia in Moscow. The cunning swap deal that could see Man United beat Arsenal and Chelsea to £63 million striker. Manchester United are said to be targeting a £63 million striker also on Arsenal and Chelsea's radar. Manchester United could swoop in and beat the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea to signing Sporting CP striker Victor Gyökeres, who is in demand right now due to his incredible goal-scoring form. The Sweden international has scored 16 goals in 11 matches this season and has scored 66 goals in 68 games since joining the Portuguese side in 2023. His link to new United manager Ruben Amorim makes him a contender to join his former boss at Old Trafford in January, when his release clause reduces to £63 million. Arsenal have been interested in the 26-year-old since the start of summer, but Sporting CP were adamant that buying clubs would have to pay his £87 million release clause, which Gyökeres himself admitted in September was the reason why he didn't leave Portugal in the summer. Chelsea showed an interest in the Swede during the January transfer window, but they hadn't made any move for Gyökeres at the time, and the Blues stepped up the pursuit of Victor Osimhen over the summer instead, a deal that ultimately failed to materialise. However, it now looks as though United could be in line to make a move for the Sporting CP man, as according to the Daily Briefing, Ruben Amorim's side could hand over Joshua Zirkzee as an extra incentive on top of a fee in order to sign Gyökeres, as the Dutchman has not had the best start to life at Old Trafford. Zirkzee signed for the Red Devils over the summer for a fee of £36.5 million and so far this season has scored 1 goal in 17 appearances, which came in his debut in the first Premier League game of the season, a 1-0 win over Fulham. Since then, the forward has struggled to find consistent game time and looks lackluster in United's attack, meaning they could cash in on him sooner rather than later. Victor Gyökeres' connection to Manchester United. The striker has an obvious connection to United as now ex-Sporting CP manager Amorim was recently appointed as Erik ten Hag's successor. Amorim has helped Gyökeres to develop into one of the best strikers in Europe as he has become a prolific and dangerous goal scorer. The 26-year-old has played in England before as he signed for Brighton in 2018 from Sweden before several loan moves which included Swansea City and Coventry City before he signed permanently for the Sky Blues in 2021 for a fee of just £1 million. Gyökeres. Dan Collymore tells Ruben Amorim what he should do with Luke Shaw at Manchester United as soon as he takes over. Ruben Amorim is the new head coach of Manchester United, and the Old Trafford faithful are buzzing. Amorim has arrived at Old Trafford with a strong reputation. The 39-year-old guided Sporting Lisbon to the Portuguese Primeira Liga title triumph in 2021 and 2024. United have been struggling for a while now, and under Erik ten Hag, things were dire this season before Ruud van Nistelrooy stepped in to pick up some valuable points to push the Red Devils within 4 points of the Premier League top 4. As you would expect when a new manager comes into any club, there will be doubts over the future of some players at United who want to sign Leon Goretzka. According to Stan Collymore, one of the players who could be forced to leave Old Trafford is Luke Shaw. The former Liverpool striker has noted the injury history of Shaw, and has said that if the £27 million left-back is unable to show that he can get back to full fitness, then Amorim should sell him. Ruben Amorim given advice over Manchester United left-back Luke Shaw. Collymore wrote in Court Offside, in terms of Amorim coming in, I think that every good manager that I've played under, and every good manager that I've seen on day one says everybody's got a clean slate. Players that have been injured, players that were out in the wilderness, players that have been forced to train with the U21s, U23s or the kids get an arm around them. He'll also want absolute honesty so that he can say to players like Luke Shaw, for example, can you get to a level where you play 30+ games a season? If the honest answer is no, then I think he's got to get rid of those players because I think that if you look at winning teams, they have a lot of players that play a lot of games. Luke Shaw's recent injury history at Manchester United. Shaw has been on the books of United since 2014 when he joined from Southampton. The England international is a very good left-back and showed a lot of promise in his younger days, but he is 29 now and has been plagued with injury issues in recent years. Sure, rated highly by Aston Villa manager Unai Emery, has yet to play in a competitive game this season and only just returned to training after recovering from knee and calf injuries. The left-back had muscle and thigh issues last season and played 12 times in the Premier League and twice in the UEFA Champions League. In his exclusive column for Court Offside, former Aston Villa attacker Stan Collymore discusses some of football's biggest talking points, including what Ruben Amorim can expect at Man United, is Pep Guardiola ready to lead Man City for a few more years, why Thomas Tuchel has food for thought for England and why Mikel Arteta just isn't very good. I think that Manchester City are just going through what is a cyclical process of all teams that are routine winners. If you look at the bar that they set over the Pep Guardiola years so far, it's been so high that it's virtually impossible. We are talking about 8 years of continued success, whether it be Champions League, Premier Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups, they've won the lot. To be able to do that, firstly, you need to completely overhaul the club every few years, which they've done successfully. From Aguero to Haaland as an example. You look at the players that Pep inherited and the players that he has now, and there's been a huge difference. He's also massively improved players and they're all playing at 8 or 9 out of 10. Not only that, Pep has also raised their awareness of the sport that they play, which I think will be good for coaching down the line with a number of players. I do think though this is potentially the end of a cycle, and I think that the decision that needs to be made by the board is for them to go for another coach who will implement a new 6, 7, 8-year cycle. Look, Pep could stay there for 20 years if he wants to, but he's got to answer the questions himself. If it becomes about money, how much money does he need? Because the club would pay him £20 million a year no problem. They've got the best man in the world. The other thing of course is that time waits for no man, and as you've got younger, fresher coaches coming through, it will be very interesting to see how the likes of Amorim, for example, compare to him tactically and technically. Is Pep a bit sick and tired of asking the same questions of his players week in and week out? Does that feeling transmit to players? Is he as fresh on the training ground as he once was? Is he as manic as he was? Players that have won everything look around and go, do I want to push myself through that barrier again? I think it's just the natural ending of a cycle, and the only two main questions I've got is whether Pep has the hunger to be able to handle another 6, 7, 8-year cycle. Thanks for watching. See you next time.